When my second oldest daughter was a newborn, when she was a newborn, I once had this nightmare. It was horrific, where my daughter had gangrene on her leg, and it woke me up, and I was terrified. And I went to her and took her little onesie thingies out off, and found that her pinky toe on her foot had a piece of my hair wrapped around it so tightly her toe was purple. And when I was trying to pick off the hair with my fingers, it wasn't coming off that easy. So I had to get my sewing kit, and I had these little tiny scissors I use for when I'm sewing to pick out the hair to get it frayed a little bit enough where I could actually start winding it from her toe. And then I had to rub her toe to rub some life back into it. And I remember praying the whole time. I was like, I don't want her to lose her toe. I mean, she was a new baby. And it was my hair. It was it was just scary. And then I was very thankful to God that He scared me enough in waking me up to check on her. So I pay very close attention to any nightmare I have if it has to do with my kids. I pray, because I've learned from experience to listen. Another time, my same daughter, just a couple weeks after that, everyone who knows me knows I try to do too many things at once. Try to carry too many things at once. That is me. And I wanted to take them outside to play, her and her sister. So I had my daughter in my arms. She was only newborn. I had her diaper bag, my 2-year-old daughter's diaper bag on me. So I had 2 diaper bags on my back. Their winter coats, which I hadn't put on them. I was going to wait till I got to the bottom of the stairs. We lived in this upstairs, second-story apartment, and to get down to the front door, we had to go downstairs. But it was still in the house. And I had her shoes in my hand. My other daughter was behind me, and so I had my daughter in my arms, had the stuff on my back, had the coats in my hands and the shoes, and I think I was probably steps. Maybe about just a quarter of the way down. And I tripped. And I remember it didn't even occur to me to try to grab on the railing or anything like that. I just grabbed it tighter. And I remember saying God. Not out loud, of course. In here, saying God. That's as far as I got. And we were going to hit the steps. I was flying head first. And the next instant, I was just sitting on the stairs. There's nothing between me almost hitting the steps and suddenly sitting. And I was like, wow. So whenever I get discouraged or upset or have a bad day or overwhelmed, I remind myself of that moment. Because I could have lost her. It was because I was too hurrying. I was trying to do too much. And I was careless. And I could have lost my daughter. My daughter's here today because God intervened on her behalf for her sake. And mine, because I never would have recovered on that. And I remember sliding. I slid the rest of the way down the steps. I was not moving, and I just dropped everything else I had but her. And my husband at the time was outside. I think had been getting snow and stuff off his car at the time, and I'd seen him still out there. I was like, I don't open up the front door because I was wanting to tell him what just happened. And I stopped. I didn't call him because I didn't think he'd believe me. So I kept it to myself. Though a couple weeks later, they asked about testimonies at church, and I did go and tell my church, which is scary. I never want to do that again. That was very scary. and told them about it. But I didn't share it with my spouse because didn't think I didn't think he'd listen. And whenever I get discouraged, though, it makes the day so much brighter because I'm like, I think how I could have lost her, and my daughter's here. My daughter's going to graduate this year, going to college, and it's like she's still here now because God looked out for her. And if God look out for her there, because God's going to be watching her every day like He has all these years. I know He watches her when she goes to work, when she goes to school. He's there. Now, my oldest daughter, a few years ago, shortly after, it was almost right after I got divorced. I think I've been divorced. I forget how long now when this happened. I have to look at my calendars, but I got a call from my daughter. Well, no, let me backtrack. I had woken up, another nightmare. I didn't even sit up for this time to pray. I prayed while I was laying down. I was just tears down my eyes because I dreamed that near her house someone had hit my daughter, thrown her in his car, and taken off with her, and that we didn't have her again or have her anymore. And I woke up and I was so terrified. I was like, don't let anyone take my baby. Don't let anyone accomplish this. Protect her and keep her safe. And I prayed for like a half an hour or until however long it was until I had peace. I couldn't even move. I was like stiff as a board. I couldn't move. That's how agitated and upset I was. And just begging God to keep her safe and protect her. And I called my daughter the next day, and I asked how she was doing. I didn't want to tell her because I'm like, oh, she's gonna think her mom's a freak. Her mom's in that job. So I didn't tell her. I said, "Are you okay?" I said, and yeah, she was fine. She was telling me she walks to and from school to pick up her brother. And so I was like, okay, everything's fine. I said, just be careful. I just left it at that. I said, just please be careful. And it was a week or two after that, I get a call. And she's crying. And she says she just got back from the hospital. And I'm like, what happened? Because I thought it was her sister, because we just found out her sister had Lyme disease. So I thought my other daughter was in the hospital again for Lyme disease. She's like, no, I was at the hospital for me, Mommy. And I was like, what happened? And she told me that on her way to pick up her brother from school, she stopped at the street and was going to cross it, but she was waiting for the traffic. And the man had stopped and smiled at her and waved her across. And then he put on his gas pedal and sped up and hit my daughter. And she flew up and hit the ground. But then when he stopped and my daughter got out, he drove off. When my daughter finished walking all the way to school to pick up her brother, never telling the school that what she just went through, she waited till she took her brother home until her father got home to even tell anyone. I tell you, she's here today because God answers prayers. If I had even woken up and not prayed, I guarantee God would still saved her and still protected her. But God sometimes calls you to pray so you can be aware of what He's doing. Doesn't mean He needs you to pray, no. But He wants you to pray when He calls you to pray, because He wants you to be a part of the knowledge of what He is able to do and how profound it is in your life. Don't think he doesn't hear your prayers, because trust me, he does. Sometimes he says yes to your prayers, sometimes he says no. But God always hears your prayers. And God always has an answer. And sometimes God's no's is for your benefit and for your good. And every prayer you pray for your children, he keeps. It's not like he's just going to shovel it away or put it in the trash file and wait till you pray again to renew it. No. When you pray, they stay before him. Prayer is the most amazing way of communicating with God. I can't explain it enough how much God moves in prayer. How much you can trust in prayer. I mean, I would never live my life without praying or without trusting, because it's just, I couldn't cope without it. I totally need to trust him. I know totally, it's how I live. I can't think of any other way. I can't think of any other way. This is how to live. I think if you try to live your life without believing in prayer or without prayer, that's gotta be rough. Life is rough on its own, but that's like living your life without security. You can rest assured and secure in God's hands, because his strength is better than yours. His might is better than yours, and his protection is better. I don't care what home security you have or what weapon you think you have to protect your home. I'll take my prayer and the power of prayer over any other form of protection. Because I walked to work as a teenager in the roughest part of my town, 2 in the middle of the night to get home, 4 in the morning to get to work. When I did the breakfast opening or when I did the closing, by myself, and I was safe. Okay, I was praying the whole time. I said the Lord's Prayer over and over again, and it carried me through. No one bothered me. And I tell my kids, you go to work. If you're stuck having to walk and it's a bad neighborhood, you pray. They do. Bad things can still happen, as I just said about my daughter, but my daughter's still here. My daughter, I can still talk to her. I can still see her. I can still hug her. It's prayer. Power of prayer. Power of the living God. You don't want to live without it. God's amazing. His mercy endures forever. His love endures forever. His patience. Though, if you've seen the stuff in the news, God's accountability for mankind is he's going to let loose on people. Seek God while you have a chance. Seek God while he can be found. And read the Bible while it's available, because you don't know how long we'll have the freedom to read the Bible. Because the enemy of mankind, the enemy of this world, it's going to be on his agenda to get rid of. Because the Bible is the living word, and as powerful as prayer is, the Bible is also powerful in information you need to know, in truth that you need to know. It's food for your spirit. It's living water. Jesus is living water. He's the Word made flesh. That's what the Bible is. And you need that every day just to get through the day. It's such a great source. People worry about their vitamins or eating right, and they ignore the most important thing you need: prayer, faith in God, and reading the Bible. You want a healthy life. You want a healthy spiritual life. You want to invest in an internal investment. Read, pray, and talk to God. And get with fellow Christians that believe in the Bible, believe in the living God, and believe in Jesus Christ. That is the only way. He is the only way. He's the only way to live.